Alright, today we are going to be talking about lines of best fit. I know up here the notes say curves, but we're actually going to handle curves later after you've learned your quadratics. So just lines of best fit today. So these are called scatter plots, these three. And scatter plots are just a way of graphing data, and when you graph them and you compare two characteristics about them, like the bottom down here looks like year, and the top up here is about million, so maybe this is population, you can actually see trends in data visually. So if you look at our first one here, it starts up high, so left to right is how we're always looking, left to right, starts up high and then starts decreasing. So we call this a negative trend, just like a negative slope of a line. Now this one kind of jumps all over the place, right? So maybe this is comparing how far away you live from school and your grade at school, because that doesn't really have any relationship to each other. So we call this no trend or no relationship. And then over here it starts really low, but as we go along, it goes up. So that is our positive trend, just like a positive slope. There's one other trend that I'm not going to talk about today, but that's the constant trend. So that would be a horizontal line. So that would be constant right there. So here's how you find a line of best fit. So you get a table of data, and you have an X and a Y. So they always come in that order. So your mil cost is X, your tip is Y. And what we need to do is come up with an equation, and we're going to make the equation that fits this data. And then after that, we're going to answer a question using that equation. So you need your graphing calculator, so get that out and ready to go. Make sure it's on. You can clear out anything that's on there already. And the first thing I want you to do is hit this stat button right here. So everyone say it right there, stat. And you're going to go ahead and hit edit because we want to edit what's in our calculator. And this L1 and L2, that's list 1, list 2, that's X and Y. So X is L1, Y is L2. If it says anything other than those two, maybe you just need to scroll over and find it. So you see how I have many lists in here I could use. Or if it's not there at all and you can't find it when you scroll over, go ahead and hit your second plus and go and reset your calculator because it's not going to work for you, okay? So L1 and L2. Now in L1 I'm going to put all of my X values, and then in L2 I'm going to put all of these Y values. I just need to make sure these stay lined up, and these stay lined up, and these stay lined up, and so on and so forth. So here I go. 475, $6.84. See how I hit enter to go down to the next row? That's the quick way to do it. So again, hit enter to go down to the next row, and then $12.52, and then $20.42, $8.97. Let me make sure I've got that all. Yep, we're all good there. So I have 5 things, and I have 5 in my row here, so I'm good to go. So we're going to skip over to the next column, so use your arrow over, go right there. And now we're going to put in our tips. Now I'm going to skip a couple of the zeros that I don't need just to make typing faster. Like 50 cents, that's 0.5. If you'd like to enter it exactly like you see it over here, that's fine as well. You'll get the same answer as me. I'm just getting rid of extra zeros. And again, I'm just making sure whatever's here lines up with its tip down here, so your X and your Y line up. So with 2042, I need to put a 3, and then after that a 1. All right, we've got all our data. So the next thing you want to do is hit your stat button again, and now we're going to go over to calculate to make it tell us the line of best fit. So arrow over, so you're on this tab up here, and now we need to go down to linreg. That is your line of best fit. It stands for linear regression. Linear means line. So on your calculator, you actually, it looks a little bit different if you're using a newer calculator, but it's still option number 4. So you can click the 4 or scroll down and hit it. I'm going to click the 4. And this is where the TI-84 and the TI-83 are a little bit different. You actually get this, you have about 4 other options on your TI-84. My TI-83 is ready to go. I hit enter and it does everything for me. All you need to do is use your arrow down to go down to calculate on your screen, and you'll get the same thing I do. So we've got y equals ax plus b at the top, and that's telling you your slope-intercept form. It tells you what to plug in for A, and it tells you what to plug in for B. So here we go. It says y is equal to 0.16 when I round, x plus a negative 0.29. Let me bring that up again. Plus a negative 0.29. And yes, I always want you rounding to the hundredths place, so we're going to call that just a negative 0.3. So minus 0.3. So there we go. We've got our equation given to us by the line of best fit. So to get out of this, all you have to do is hit clear, and you're out of it. And now we can go and use this equation we just found to find the new tip. So remember, the y is tip and the x is meal cost. So if I'm ordering a meal of $10.50, that's my x, I just need to plug it in right here. So here we go. Y equals 0.16 times $10.50 plus, oops, not plus, minus 0.3. So in your calculator, makes it really quick. Let's do it. It says 0.16 times 1050 minus 0.3. And your calculator will do that PEMDAS for you. We'll multiply and then subtract right there. So we should have left a tip of $1.38. So $1.38 is the tip amount for that meal. All right, if you're feeling comfortable, go ahead and move along without me. If not, stay right here and we'll do another one. So I need to clear out what I just did. So I'm going to clear out the screen, but in order to redo my list, so I went to my stat key again. I'm going into edit, so I'm hitting enter right away. I could go through and delete each of these individually, but instead, if you go up here to L2, you hit the clear button in the down, it will clear out the entire list. Let me show you that again with L1. So I'm going to use the up button, get up here, I'm going to hit clear and then my down arrow, and it will clear out the whole list. Make sure you don't accidentally hit delete there, because that will delete the whole list, and then you'll have to go reset your calculator to get it back. Alright, so for my new L1 is my new X, for my new L2 is my new Y, and it said the number of hours spent studying for a science exam is X, and the final exam grade is Y. So let's try that out. So we've got 2, 5, 1, 0, 4, 2, and 3, and that's it. Now I'm going to go over here, make sure I get L2 lined up perfectly. So 77, 92, 70, 63, 90, and 75 and 84. So what we have done is entered all this information so we can get out the line of best fit equation. So remember how you do that. You hit your stat button, you go over to calculate up here, go down to LinReg for line of best fit, and then you have to go down to calculate. Mine's ready to go, so I hit enter and it gives me the answer there. So I've got y equals, I got to plug in this A, I got to plug in this B. So that's 6.09, so y equals 6.09x. Don't forget that x. That's going to be a variable later that we need to plug in. And then we've got 63.93. Now, notice this one's positive, so I'm going to use the plus this time. I only put a subtraction last time because it was negative. So it says plus 63.92, I think. Let me double check that. 93 when you round it. All right, so let's see what's happening. Hours spent studying is x. I'm studying for 6 hours, so I have an x value. And I need to know my y, the final exam grade. So let's try it out. What is 6.09 times 6 for the amount of hours I studied, plus 63.93. So I'm just plugging into that equation I just had over there. So I'm going to go to my calculator, get this done really quickly. You can actually start typing right away, but once you start typing, it does, on your new calculators, it does clear it out, so you can't actually see this information here. You've got to write it down somewhere. So times 6 for the amount of hours I studied, and then plus 63.93. So if you studied for 6 hours, you should get over 100 on this test. So if we rounded that, that would be 100 though, right? So we're at 100. So that would have been a guessing game. We actually got a little over 100 on that one, and the max score is 100. So rather than just like plugging in random values till you find the score you're looking for, on the back page we're actually going to know what we're looking at here and then find the length that goes with it. So we're going to find the x now. So the first part is the same. Where's my calculator? There he is. So the first part is the same, where we clear this out, we go into stat, we go to edit, and we clear out these lists. So you go up here, highlight and down, highlight, clear and down, and we've got a new list. We've got sand sharks, the length versus the weight of them. And let's go ahead and enter those. So L1 is my X, my length, L2 is my weight, so my Y. So here we go, 60, 62, 66, 68, 70, and 72. I think that's all of it. Yes, it is. Good. On my L2, I'm going to put the weight of them, 105, 114, 124, 131, 139, 149, and 158. All right, that's not working out right. There's something wrong here. So, have you spotted it yet? And how did I know something was wrong? Well, see how these are uneven up here? That means I must have forgotten to enter something up here. Oops, I did not write my 64. So the only thing you can do at this point is go through and actually overwrite them as you go down. So make sure you can't just add it to the end, because they've got to line up horizontally just like they line up vertically here. So 139 needs to line up with 68, and 149 needs to line up with 70, and that last one should be a 72. All right, so we're going to hit stat, we're going to go over to calc. We're still going to do this part here where we go to number 4, or hit option number 4. You need to go make that calculate, and we've got y equals ax plus b. We've got y equals 4.36. So y equals 4.36x. And then our b value there is negative, so I'm going to say subtract 156.14. Negative 156.14. So this time we, let's say we caught a shark and we know their weight is 99 pounds and we want to know if they are healthy or not. So if it's 99 pounds, what length should it be? And then we're going to measure it and see if it's actually that length, okay? But our weight is not our X, it's our Y. So instead of plugging in this 99 here like we have been before, we're going to plug it in over here. So 99 is equal to what length, basically? So this is a two-step equation, and all you have to do is solve for this lovely x right here. So we are going to add our 156 and then divide by our 14.36. So add 156.14 to the side over here. Go into your calculator, get this done. So 99 plus 156.14. And that gives me 255.14. That is equal to 4.36x. Divide by 4.36 on either side. So there we go. Divide by 4.36. And we will have the ideal length of that fish. And if it's not 58.5 inches long, then we know that shark is unhealthy. Or if it's bigger than that, then maybe it's a little over healthy, all right? So I already forgot what I put up there. What was it? 58.5. 58.5. 58.5. There we go. Third time's the charm. And because that was our x value, we know that is inches. Okay. Let's try it again. So this one, we have some randomly selected men, and they gave us their height versus their shoe size. So we're going to predict height. Maybe this is a magic trick. We're going to predict height based off of their shoe size. So let's go and let's clear them off. So edit in our stats, and let's go ahead and clear out both of these lists. And then here we go, 67, 70, 73.5, 75, 78, and 66. All right, let's try the next one. 8.5, 9.5, 11, 12, 13, and 8. All right, so we've got all our data in. We're going to go find that line of best fit again. So I hit stat, I went over to calc, I'm going down to option number 4. And there we go. We've got the equation y equals ax plus b. We got to plug in our a of 0.42 and our b is negative, so we'll say subtract 19.81. So let's try this out. Y equals 0.42x minus, what was that again? 19.81. Okay. So we have a shoe size of 10.5. Our height is the first one, our shoe size is the second one, so I know the y value again. So what do we need to do here? We plug in that our y is that 10.5, and we solve it for x, which will tell us the height of this guy right here. So, two-step equation, we get to add our 19.81, and then we will divide by that 0.42. So back to our calculator. We've got our 10.5 in. We're going to add 19.81. We get out a number, 30.81. Oops, that wasn't 30.81, that was 30.31. And then we just need to divide by our 0.42. So just solve the two-step equation as we go. So divide that by 0.42. And we know that he should be about 72.2 inches tall. Which is a pretty tall guy. Alright, well, almost done. There's one more. This one is a multiple choice question like they might put on the SOL. And it says, shows the scores of several students received in math and music classes last semester. So math scores going this way, music scores going this way. So the higher it is over here, or the further along this axis, the higher the math score. The further along up here, the higher their music score. So which statement best describes the relationship in the scatter plot? As math score decreases, so we're talking about like right here, the music score increases. So if that's true, then at around here it should be way up there. So that can't be true. As the math score increases, the music score decreases. So as you have a better math score, your music score is lower? No, that's really high, so that's not true. As the math score decreases, the music score does not change. Well, that's definitely changing. It has a positive trend here. And then as the math score increases, the music score increases. That's the one. It has to be because we've already eliminated the rest, but take a look. As we get higher on our math scores, these are also rising. So you've got a positive trend there. And so we found the answer to that one.